Hey everybody, Tim here with the second and final of the Doctor Who movies, Dalek Invasion Earth 2150 AD, which is a long fucking title. So this is the second and last of the Peter Cushing unofficial, non-canonical Doctor Who remake movies. So this one came out in August of 1966, which was between seasons 3 and 4 of the actual TV show. Kind of like the first movie came out between seasons 2 and 3, this one came out almost exactly a year later between 3 and 4, so it's kind of interesting. Also, like the first one, this is a remake of an actual story from the original series. In this case, it's the 10th story, Dalek Invasion of Earth, which in itself was 6 episodes. So they took 6 episodes and they condensed it down to about an hour and 20 minutes. Now, in my opinion, that was kind of a bold choice because I won't spoil anything. I'll wait till we get to those actual episodes. But Dalek Invasion of Earth is a very, very well-known story for the first Doctor. So it's kind of an interesting choice that they went with that one to remake. I also think it's a little disappointing that they did another Dalek movie. Now, the Daleks are probably the most well-known villain of the Doctor Who franchise, so it kind of makes sense that they're going for more familiarity rather than anything else. But it's just kind of disappointing. I felt like they should have branched out. But then again, the first Doctor didn't have a lot of the well-known villains that we have today, which I'll get back into. So the actors who played Ian and Barbara were unavailable for this movie, so they just kind of had to recast them. And so Barbara, the Doctor's granddaughter in this case, was turned into Louise, his niece, which unfortunately rhymed, and it made me laugh every time I said it. And she was kind of not even really in the movie, or I just kept blocking her out every time she showed up. I don't know, she was just a very unimportant character. It mostly focused on the Doctor and Susan, his granddaughter, and then Ian was turned into the role of Tom, who was a cop that accidentally kind of got thrown into the adventure unknowingly. Which I liked him more than I liked Ian, because in the first movie, Ian was just a joke. Like, he was comedic relief, and not even good comedic relief. Whereas in this case, Tom was actually a pretty interesting character. Kind of a quick side note, he was played by Bernard Cribbins, I think is how you say that, who, 40 years later, goes on to the current series of Doctor Who, plays Wilfred Mott, Donna's grandfather, in the Tennant episodes. So that's kind of interesting, because not a lot of people were in these Peter Cushing movies and go on to be in the actual series. So I like that. So like I just said, the first Doctor didn't have a lot of well-known villains, which I'll cover more when I start those episodes. But it's interesting in this movie, the Daleks basically grab humans and kind of enslave them, and they turn them into what they call the Robo-Men. And the Robo-Men are just kind of mindless slaves that do what the Daleks say. For those who watch Doctor Who episodes, and especially the current stuff, it's basically the Cybermen, but it's kind of interesting because this movie came out before the actual series introduces the Cybermen. So I really liked that. I thought that was really interesting, that they kind of almost do something before the series does. Also in this movie, the Daleks have now evolved. In that first movie, they were they could only go on metallic surfaces where they were conducted, whereas now they can go outside and we see a Dalek in the water. So it's kind of interesting. I felt like they were they were trying to branch out more because the first movie didn't do very well. So they were trying to branch out and look like, oh no, we can do more stuff. Look at these sets. Look at this. Look at that. And it didn't really work. In fact, the main downside for this entire movie is there's a lot of drawn out scenes, especially when you see the Robo-Men going and get their food. It's a 5-minute scene of watching 8 dudes just do the exact same thing because it's supposed to look like a conveyor belt or something, and it doesn't work. It's really bad. That being said, the actual Dalek flying saucer ship was pretty bitchin'. It was a pretty nice effect, and just the overall design of it looked really, really good. So I did like that. But yeah, so overall, I mean, I wouldn't say this movie's great. It's just kind of, if you're capable of completely ignoring the original series and just watch this for a 60s sci-fi movie, it's not too bad. It's pretty interesting. It's got its little quirks and its little funny moments, but it's not too bad. I can kind of watch it for its own thing and actually enjoy it, especially the relationship between like Peter Cushing as Doctor Who and his granddaughter Susan. I think it's a really good family relationship. Originally, there was talk of them doing a third movie, and once again basing it off of I think it was The Chase of the original series, which was another Dalek story. But because these movies just didn't fare well, and because the series was gaining in popularity, they just decided to cut their losses and just stop. So all that being said, if you guys have toughed through these movies at any point, go ahead, let me know in the comments below just what you guys think of them. Most people don't even try to watch these, they just focus on the story. And then that being said, next time I will be starting with the actual Doctor Who, the official series, starting with episode 1, An Unearthly Child. And again, for those that didn't see the other videos, I'm going to be doing all the episodes of the story and then just doing one video based on that story. So I will see you guys next time for William Hartnell's debut as the Doctor.